So you go around. I'm trying to remember back to my school days and sit with teachers when things are being taught. You kind of overlook them, right? As a principal.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't be in every classroom at every point in time.
Correct.
So if we've got 4 teachers in here, right, and you're not very good at this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you are.
No, I know.
Example.
Yeah.
And you're awesome. You're and you're okay. You're the wildcat. So, but you know, you take a survey and you say, well, yeah, I'm doing it, but you're really not.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess how can you guys sit there and try to create a true benchmark of you're a problem teacher,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or and you're outstanding and you guys need to pick it up. Right? How does that?
Well, I think it starts with beginning of the year, setting the expectation, making sure everybody's on the same page.
Right.
That it is a non-negotiable item that this is happening, and if I find out that it's not, then there's accountability piece to it.
Right.
I think that's one of the goals of our admin team this year is to try to be in more classrooms.
You can't be everywhere. All the time.
Right, and I think we have an idea of a few that we
Right.
probably need to get into more, just from word of mouth and
Right.
from things that we know from
Okay.
what we hear. But then we are going to Wildcat Hour every day next year or this upcoming year,
What is it?
and so that's basically when these lessons are taught. It's
Kind of
like a
homeroom
homeroom,
class.
Oh, okay.
an advisory. So one day is dedicated to like a structured study hall, which we call seminar.
Okay.
We used to only have 2 days that we did that. One was dedicated to our PBIS lessons. And I would say the majority of our staff does do the lessons.
Yes.
I would say you're talking 5% of our staff, maybe unless I'm off on that, 5-10%.
If you think
That
5%,
don't. But if you think 5%, that's
20 kids.
20 kids. And so 20, 40,
Yeah,
60, you're talking 100 kids out of 900. That won't get, we need everybody to have that. So.
That's where I think the teams could kind of like, because you said, you know, there's out of like that team of 4 teachers, there's probably one that is rock star at teaching
Mm-hmm.
that lesson, or maybe a teacher doesn't feel comfortable with what the topic is that's being taught, so they can kind of work together to be like, maybe we pull our Wildcats together one day,
Mhm.
or maybe we rotate.
And hold each other accountable.
But
Yeah.
these lessons are hand delivered. All they have to do is follow the plan, get their materials out of their mailbox. So
I say yes and no to that. I mean, they are yes. I mean, everything's there. However, to create it your own and for your kids, there's
You
stuff
still-
you put into it.
you want
know?
to look it over.
So if we
You
had
hope,
those,
you hope that
well,
people,
yes, I do.
Yes, yes.
You personalize
You're
it.
the
Yeah.
rock star.
I-
I mean,
yes,
that's-
yeah.
But if we had those ahead of time, you know, like a week or 2 weeks or what, anew, you know, then we'd be able to sit with our team and say, hey, how are you going to, you know, do this week? What are you doing? And share ideas. And even though it's there, to kind of bring other things on board. Maybe.
Right.
When you guys get in your teams, did somebody raise their hand and say, you know what, I'm actually struggling with this. I'm having issues with X, Y, and Z.
You hope so.
well,
Last year was our first
A
year
lot of
for
people don't like to
teaming.
say, well,
Right, that's
you
my
know,
weakness.
I'm bad.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think as we continue the teams and the teams stay the same and there's that cohesiveness and you build that trust
Mhm.
and the teachers are building relationships with each other. A lot of us say, you know what, you're better at that than me. That's your strength, whether it's in your team or
I
your
can see
department. I think we're pretty good about that. What I think we have a harder time with is saying when you know somebody's not doing something, calling them out because it's like, well, I'm not their boss. I'm not this. That's the hard part. So I think with the accountability piece and doing more PD, things like that, I think also with, like you're saying, not everybody's getting it and students not getting it because some of our high flyers, our top tier kids that take a lot of our attention with these negative behaviors and we're trying to make them positive, they're
Talk to you
gone a
being
lot.
bad.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they're gone a lot. So they miss these lessons.
Yes.
So I think what you were saying in our meeting last week is we're going to have, for sure we're having this homeroom Wildcat Hour every day. I think that's going to be better for consistency. But also if a child has ISS, they don't go until after Wildcat Hour. So they're getting the information. So they don't keep missing this information to better their skills and coping mechanisms.
So
I think that's going to be big.
this is
Yeah, I
6th,
think that's
7th, and 8th?
So,
Right.
yeah.
just something.
Just 7th and 8th?
Yeah.
So the peer group is pretty tight, right? So just an idea. The top tier,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
the bad kids, if they're little cancers, right? They can be in a classroom, right? It can spread pretty quick, I'm guessing. So if they're that bad and they're in wildcat hour, I'm trying to use you guys' lingo. I'm struggling. They can essentially be a problem then as well, correct? So if it's an ongoing scenario, could you just have kind of the bad kids all in one group, or is that?
You don't want to alienate them.
Right.
And that's where it comes back to, I think, the teachers to build those relationships.
Gotcha.
And that's why you have the Wildcat Hour, because it's not an academic place for them. And hopefully it's just a place where they can open up,
Gotcha.
have that deal. So, because a lot of times when they misbehave, it's because they're frustrated and they don't know the skills. And so in different academics, like I teach social studies, I may not get as much of that because of my content, my subject area. Whereas math, they might be like, I hate math, I'm not good at math, I've always been told, so they get frustrated, and that's when they start to act out.
Gotcha.
So this homeroom hopefully builds those, but they're in these homerooms with their team teachers.
Mhm.
So again, maybe if they struggle with math, their Wildcat Hour is their math teacher, so they can build that relationship with that individual.
And I think also being surrounded by
Hopefully.
kids that are displaying those positive behaviors is kind of essential for
Yes.
PBIS, for them to see like, oh, they're doing that and the incentives and all of that.
They also need a lot of these high flyers need peer models, and
Mhm.
so they need to see their peers doing the right things.
Right.
So if we isolate them all, I think that would be quite the room.
Well, you'd probably need
yeah.
lots involved.
So we've talked about, we would love, and it all comes down to kind of funding, but having, it'd be a school within a school, so you have those kids that just don't have those skills to behave in a classroom, that they would be in kind of a homeroom all day, getting math, reading, until they can show that they can. So we've presented stuff like that to the district, but it all comes down to money, and so we kind of called it like a life coach. That would be certified in multiple contents.
Gotcha.
I used to do that.
That could
I did too.
that could teach those kids not only math, reading, social studies, science, whatever's, but how to behave, how to get along with others, how to respect your teachers and peers. So we're waiting. That'd be a dream, a vision of ours
No,
down the road, hopefully.
Well, thank you all for educating me very quickly.
Thank
Because
you.
I was,
Yeah,
It's
because
it's also
you're-
nice to have an outside perspective
Yeah.
come in. 'Cause
it's a big struggle because
Yeah.
because they don't have those skills, and they're getting close to having to make big boy and big girl decisions pretty quickly.
Right.
So it's kind of our last kind of chance to catch them.
I got you.
Well, and I think if we could have some curriculum for it, like when they're on ISS, maybe reviewing some of those. There's a PBIS lesson that or in recovery, because that should be the time where they're learning it. I mean, not just doing assignments, which they should be doing too, but working on the behaviors that have got them there.
Mhm.
That would be nice to.
That's a good idea. Another question I asked you is what hinders your active support of PBIS? I'm going to go through these, kind of get you out of here. But the majority, like Lori had stated, not to call you out on
No,
your,
you're
your
totally fine.
spot, but that would have been obvious that was you, that she's not in the classroom. But she can see those students in her office, so she doesn't have very many things that do hinder her. Some people address not knowing positive techniques to stop the negative behaviors. I think that'll go into more BIST later on, different things like that. Frustrating when teachers do not do the activities. And you can see here, this is why are you not switching? For me. Hold on. How do you get it to? There we go. Same thing, not having buy-in. Celebrations are too far apart. I appreciated this comment because we do that for PBIS, our quarter celebrations, but I think this is something that could really be brought into our teams, is recognizing those kids quickly, immediately. And so I really, not to call that person out
Not
either,
that
but I really
I-
appreciated.
I'd like to kind of go back to that too. I would love to put like little 3-week kind of competitions where each team's going against each other, and maybe I thought about having like a team scoreboard somehow in the halls or somewhere that we could track tardies for these 3 weeks, and winning team with less tardies would get some sort of incentive, ice cream sandwich, I don't know, whatever
Love
we want
it.
to come up with. Maybe we generated a list of things that students wanted, and then they could pull from that list, and once that's gone, then they have to pull some, I don't know. But
We could
just
do
like
like